Ja, lijkt wel.
Yes, we'd like to start. For those of you who don't know, we researched blogging in relation to identity formation, and because we have been researching that by blogging, we decided to also blog or put this presentation online because we want to put the process that we've made online so that the viewers can also see this part of our research. Yes.
So first off, both of our interests in blogging come from different study backgrounds. Maike comes from the teachers department, so she was interested in how blogging can be involved in education and also how media literacy is a very anticipated and a very hyped topic nowadays in education. And I come from the communication and multimedia design department at Avans. And what interests me in vlogging is that it's a medium for filmmakers and medium for social interaction. And the way that brands are more and more wanting to get involved in vlogging, which is also what I encountered at my internship last year at CFA. We're also very eager to find vloggers who could represent them, which I think was a very smart move though. But we think that vlogging at the moment is very relevant. As I said, as a marketing tool, but also within that there are these power structures with all these big brands who are trying to jump on YouTube and to want to get involved. But there's also this privacy aspect. Should we share all these intimate moments online, and is it voyeuristic for me if I watch those moments, or is it just escapism? Is it if I want to watch what someone is doing every day? And we also wondered whether or not YouTube could become a new mainstream. So those are lots of topics, but we decided to focus on the vlogger and his individuation.
Yes, to research this, we started with the question, how does the behavior of the vlogger change when he or she is vlogging? And to research this, we started to vlog ourselves. So we could examine if our behavior would change how it was before and how it would be when we're vlogging. But during the process, our focus shifted from behavior more to identity formation. So we altered the question into how are mediated identities constructed via vlogging. Yeah, and how did we research this? Like I already said, we started to vlog ourselves, so we could we have personal experience on the topic, and then by desk research we could substantiate our outcomes or the things that we are encountering. Yeah.
Apart from our own vlogging experience, we started analyzing other vlogs from both well-known YouTubers, but also very small YouTubers who are putting out vlogs. And our thoughts on this we shared in a video called The Role of the Camera, which we published online on both of our YouTube channels. Oh, I'm going to do this. Oops. We tied our findings together to the theory of George Herbert Mead's generalized other, which basically says that we do not only perform to our own beliefs, but also to what society expects us to perform, which led us to a field of symbolic interactionism, a topic that more sociologists have touched.
Yes, like vlogging is performing. Vlogs are performances, so that brought us to the theater. Yeah.
videos are constructed. We also publish online the behind-the-scenes material, which you can see right here. And together these tag videos, these behind-the-scenes materials, and the video in which we critically analyze these topics that you can see right here, kind of form our vision of how we think that mediated identities are constructed via vlogging. So the video that you can see right here is what we are going to show right now. Let me put it up. Has written about in his book, The Presentation of Self in Everyday Life, which is the front and the backstage self. And the front stage self is the self that you present to the world, which is the favorable version of yourself, the version that you want to show to others if they are able to like you. And the backstage self is kind of the role that you take when you're not with others and when you're on your own and you're kind of more laid back. So for example, how I in this video show that I have all these texts, I have all these markers and things that I use for my study. I show those products because I want to show the world that I am very invested in my study life and I'm invested in my career. So that's the role that I'm playing, which is my front stage self. Those products that you've shown, they become part of like who you are. So they become part of the extended self, which also says something about you, is that you are educating yourself and that you think it's important to educate yourself because in that way you can come up higher in society. So those markers, they extend, they're an extension of you, but they also say something about, again, the position that you're in, that you're able to be educated.
When you compare your role or your work to the way that Anna Lucien prepared herself for, that was a whole different setup. That was a very produced video by Clinique, and the way that you do it is more authentic way of that you get ready. However, you didn't wake up at the moment that we were filming because we also made this behind the scenes video, and in that you can see that we were kind of staging the way that you get ready. So in a way it wasn't really as authentic as we showed to the audience.
Because everything is put together, like the process of editing, like you are the director of what you are actually putting out there.
You're the director of your front stage self.
Although all those vlogs seem authentic, they are actually made with a purpose.
So in a way, I think all vlogging is kind of scripted and staged, even for the more bigger YouTubers who've got like million subscribers and everything. They are their own product, so they need to sell their own product. So their life has to be as interesting as it is to watch,
and the audience needs to relate to them to watch it. I think for the future is how are those vloggers, how are they influencing our identities? So when I watch, I don't know, Anna Lucien or Casey Neistat, they got certain kind of values and I watch them and I think, I think that's interesting. So I am shaping the things that I think are interesting, of course, from my own background, take pieces of everything, of everyone, create my own new identity. Other YouTubers present that they are off stage, and that's also what you see in my video. I present myself as off stage, but I'm actually not, because the camera is on me and I know everything I'm doing, I know everything that I want to say. So actually, I present my backstage as a front stage.
Yes. Okay. Like I already mentioned in the video, is that what we think is really interested is that.
Alright, hi everyone, I'm Iris, welcome back to my channel. Today,
It's a playlist, so you can watch everything if you want to. I'm not going to show you right now. No time for that.
But like I already said in the video, what we think is very interesting is the blur line between front and backstage within vlogging, but also the blur line between commerce and authentication. Well, that can be a positive thing, but it also can be a very concerning thing, and that's what we want to leave you with, and also our viewers. We want to ask you, how do you feel about this? And if you have thoughts and opinions about it, please leave them in the comments.
Yes. Yeah. This sums up what we wanted to say right now, and now let's move on to feedback.
Yeah. So
maybe not feedback yet, but maybe like where do you want to go with this?
that's a good question. Well, we've been talking about this, and sort of my point of view. I'm from the teaching department, and I'm really interested in how does it blogging, how I can implement that in the classroom, and how can I use the topic to educate the children or the students. Indeed, when it's something authentical, and when it's something that you just you can believe them or not. That's something that I'm really interested in further.
Maybe also this video that we show as of right now is a video in which we analyze it, but maybe how can we transform that video into something that could be an exposition. This video series that we've made could be shown, but yeah, it could be something to add more. For example, what other people think if we're not the only ones who think it's quite concerning that we're portraying all these different roles online, or get some more opinions in that kind of combined together.
Yeah. So my reaction immediately links to Lana's. What you achieved is you really nailed the whole aesthetics and culture of vlogging. That's perfect. Really, there's really good understanding, and also the sound quality.
Yeah.
Left mics in the future, but it's really good. I mean, it's really good for different kind of YouTube vlog. But as Lana said, I think you're staying at a very basic level. Yeah. So the on stage and the off stage personality. That's very basic, and the interesting questions really start where you also suggested that they start. Namely, for example, what is the use of this for education? The blurring line between producing a community medium and commerce, etc. But you don't really go into them. So it stays on this very basic level of what is authentic and what is staged in a vlog. And I would even suppose that, let's say, most people who consume vlogs, also younger people, have enough critical awareness to at least have some basic understanding of this. And so yeah, I would basically encourage you to stay with this project, but push it further than that.
Yeah, I agree. I think you've done great research and execution, and also performing this. But it's really like a demonstration of how blogs work and how people are staging it. But I mean, what if you like a prompt to sell something? Then what would you do, and where would this sort of production of authenticity lead you? Or what if you think in terms of, because I think what you did was really successful in terms of thinking about, okay, this is going to be for YouTube. I think like and you don't have to do this, but you know, what if you thought like this is going to be an exhibition format? Then what do we do, or where, you know, like where do you start to open the curtain? That's a bad metaphor, but where do you start to, you know, break down the staging instead of separating it out into this is the stage version and this is the backstage version? What if you combine them and then you start to fragment it within one sort of viewing experience? I mean, that's one way you can sort of take it to another level.
Yeah.
Can I add something to that? Because here this point, I think that perfectly is in line with what we said last time when we saw you. I think that we suggested that perhaps you could go into more detail about, let's say, when vlog itself could serve as an instrument to analyze what's going on in vlog. And I think you made the big step towards that goal now. So, well, that's well done. Anyhow, what we can see now is that within the frame of the vlog itself, you are able to comment on the personae or the roles what play in their performance. So I think, well, that's okay for now, but I think the really more interesting question could be, let's say, in accordance with what you're interested in now, is whether or not the blog itself can serve as a critical medium for doing so. Because now what we have seen now is an interesting and humanistic way of commenting on what's going in blog by a blog that doesn't, let's say, question itself as being such a tool. You see what I mean? So I think there are some possibilities left, some options left to go on into a more critical analysis through blogging of what, let's say, the blog is as a medium for the things you would expose.
Yeah. Well, indeed, I agree. That would be like the logical step to make indeed after this.
But so far so good.
I mean, just as maybe as an inspiration, and it's again coming completely from popular culture. I want to encourage you to watch 2 episodes of the new Black Mirror series.
Yeah, Black Mirror.
There is one person who's basically having it's a utopia, and this one person has a daily rant, and it's like ranting and has just watch it. Just watch it, because when Jan was talking about the critical potential, and there's a connection to what the critical potential is or is not, and I think it has something to do. I think you have to go deeper into the what is this actually about? What is the affirmation? What is the agency that is there, etc. So it's really like questioning the medium, but it's still very rudimentary. So if you, for instance, want to implement this into teaching, right? It's like it's a tool.
It is.
It is a tool, but I would try to push it further and add to it.
Yeah, I just thought of a couple of things. One thing that made me think about was this notion coming on from Nana's point about what is the backstage?
Yeah.
Does that exist, and can we actually use this concept? Because that is a concept we as individuals understand the line between front and backstage. And what I'm increasingly seeing is that what we thought was the backstage is being experienced in a front stage way. The front stage becomes for the individual the backstage. Because you experience yourself, because also with needs, in needs philosophy, we have the basic idea of the symbolic other. And that is how we understand who we are. And that is how we understand that we're good or we're bad. And so in this way, I'm curious about how you take the idea also of the symbolic other, because that's also identity forming, when the symbolic other is not in front of you. So there are certain spin-offs, i.e. can you break down backstage, front stage in the way that he did anymore, and how is that inflected? And also the idea of the symbolic other, and particularly for teaching. And if I go back to Nana's point, in some ways you could see the vlogging as a way of enabling teachers to be able to embrace the whole of the student, because one of the things about inclusive pedagogy, when you're looking at inclusive philosophies about how to teach, is the teachers actually only want a very limited amount of the student in front of them. They want the ideal student. So for you, going forward as a teacher, you can think about, well, how do I see the whole of the student coming in, and how that would then improve your teaching practice.
Yeah, and by doing so, you open up the third space, you know, that we talked about. And also, did you look at the watching YouTube?
Yeah, well,
I didn't engage really with it.
I know it's because it was rented and you could not find another copy.
You should have asked me because I figured I have the book.
Well, we found
So
a little
easy
bit about him,
sometimes.
but indeed that's something to dig
But the
into.
Black Mirror was also, so this is really something that you need to get the book from me for the re-edits. And then the Black Mirror, I'm not sure if I put it up on audiovisual design on our blog or on this one. It's not some, if you don't have Netflix, try to get it otherwise. But I believe I posted it either on this blog or another one, but we can, but I'm sure you'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Due to time, I would like to have one more presentation and then we will go into a break. So thank you very much.
Doei!